There will be no arrangement, and you're killing her.
Well, if there can be no arrangement, then we are at an impasse.
I'm afraid so. I can't compete with you physically, and you're no match for my brains.
You're that smart.
Let me put it this way. Have you ever heard of Plato, Aristotle, Socrates?
Yes?
Morons.
Really?
Welcome to Morons Mince Movies. I am your host, Moron Sam Munoz, and I'm here with my fellow morons, Ublester Peñalosa II and Akam King Kaiju Arturo.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Very
That's a good one.
And
Fuck
we
yeah.
are talking about Godzilla Minus One.
Mm-hmm.
Negative one.
I don't understand the title, but yeah, it's Godzilla Minus One.
It's the idea that after the war, Japan was like at zero, leveled, and then with Godzilla attacking, now they're in the negative.
Oh shit, that's what that's about.
Yeah.
Fuck. Well, there you go. Yes,
You're welcome.
we're talking about. We're gonna be mincing the most recent film, Godzilla Minus One, and
Dude, I'm so hyped that we're talking about this. Like, I suggested it to the group, not even thinking it would possibly be a possibility.
possibly be a possibility.
Because it was a foreign film. It was gonna have
Possibility.
a 1 week run. Like, I wasn't sure if everyone was gonna be able to make it, or even if everyone was interested. And the fact that it's become the cultural phenomena that it has been.
Yeah.
With an extended theatrical run, and it's making all these records. Apparently, it's higher rated on IMDb than it is Oppenheimer.
I still think that. Well,
We're
it's
gonna
only
find out
got
right now.
Wait, hold on.
It's 8.5.
Before you move on,
Okay, yeah.
Hold on.
it has 11,000 votes compared
Okay.
to Oppenheimer's. How many votes does Oppenheimer have?
We'll find out right now.
Probably at least 2,000. At least two.
8.4 with
538,000. So it's only 0.1 more than Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer way more.
I mean, it's still yes, fact. Yeah. But I'm just excited that we're talking about it. And I wore a T-Rex Christmas sweater because of it.
And I wore my Jesus saving a goal penalty shot for no
like
reason
Christmas.
whatsoever.
I hate Christmas, so I'm wearing regular clothes.
I do want to talk a little bit about Godzilla in general.
Yeah.
Now, I know in our top movies of the 90s episodes, I gave you a lot of flack about having Godzilla, the 1990s version, Godzilla,
Fuck yeah,
98
98,
Godzilla,
baby.
Broderick.
in your top 10 of the whole decade.
Yep.
I mean, now I didn't want to make it seem that I hate Godzilla as a franchise. I don't. I actually, when I was a kid, really loved Godzilla, and I've seen the original, and I've seen many of the Japanese, Godzilla versus Mothra,
Nice.
Godzilla versus what was the fucking other ones? All the other
Mechagodzilla.
Mechagodzilla, yes,
yep.
Godzilla versus King Kong, and so on and so on and so on and so on. There's like fucking, I don't know, more than there are James Bond movies.
It's the longest running franchise of all time. I believe.
70 years apparently next year.
There's
right?
53 movies, I believe.
Yeah, it'll be
Total.
70 years next year. And although I didn't really like that 90s version, the most recent one that I really liked was a 2014 version, Gareth Edwards.
Yep.
I really liked that movie. I think that was like one of the best ones. So I went into this kind of like being that as like the sort of the bar for me. And I loved the design of that Godzilla and how they modernized it and made it look more ferocious and whatnot. So I want to put that out there because I might be comparing it to that.
The
That's not
2014?
the one with Millie Bobby Brown.
No, but it is the
That
same
was the one that you
continuity.
watched. You didn't actually watch
Wait,
Godzilla
okay,
Minus
so-
One. You watched this version.
All right, so
He didn't actually watch the movie.
I texted Uble today just to make sure. Like, hey man, you saw Godzilla, right? He's like, yeah. Like, who knew that? The girl from Stranger Things had it in her. I'm like, please tell me you're joking that you didn't watch Godzilla King of the Monsters, which is not even the most recent Godzilla movie either, and not Godzilla Minus One. And you're like, no, yeah, I thought she was great. Wait, what?
My response was, the fuck is Godzilla Minus One? And then there was a pause of like 2 minutes where obviously I Googled Godzilla Minus One, realized it was not the movie I had watched, and then I responded with, fuck. And then I immediately looked up AMC Movie Times. I saw that there
So
was a
did you really
12:30
just
PM
watch
available.
it
Today?
this morning?
No, man.
Nah,
Come
yeah,
on,
fuck
guys.
it.
You guys know better than that.
All right.
Trust me. No, honestly, I watched it on Tuesday, man. And since you guys opened up the door for me, I'm gonna just fucking barge in with.
Yeah.
I really fucking enjoyed this movie, man. I will say this is I damn near got a UTI just from watching this movie because I had consumed more liquid than my liver could handle. Kidney, stomach.
Your
Where does
bladder.
the bladder, where my bladder can go. Obviously, I'm
It's
not
a
a
urinary
biology
tract
major.
infection.
So I was like, I'm screwed. I'm gonna hold it, man. I'm gonna wait for the right time to go to the restroom, and that right time just never came because I was in from the beginning. Where do you guys want? Is this spoilers?
Yeah. So
yeah.
from here on out, I think all of our episodes,
Yeah.
we're gonna just do the spoiler alert
Right
from
off
the
the back.
beginning.
Fuck it.
Yeah. So let's get started with the movie. Let's start it off from the beginning.
Well, I like that you
Go for
got
it.
you got into the background of Godzilla because I am curious to also hear your backstory, Uwe,
Yeah.
if you have one with Godzilla.
Not necessarily, man. I don't. I think my first Godzilla was your all-time favorite,
1988 Godzilla.
1998
Oh, man.
Godzilla. That was my first. Again, I didn't have that privilege of having parents that were like, "Hey, man, sit down. We're gonna watch this cool classic movie with me," or the ability for like my older brother to be into those types of movies.
Yeah.
And that's really all I was exposed to. So I made it
Did
all
you
the way
have
up
a
to-
childhood, Uble?
Yes, I did.
Are
I
you
had a
sure?
Outdoors playing.
you always in a
flag
cage or
football.
something?
Nope, we were outdoors, not on your telephone screens like y'all generation right now. Anyway, I never watched Godzilla as a kid. My first exposure to Godzilla was 1998's Godzilla, and I thought it was like, okay, it's an okay film. I don't know enough about Godzilla to be upset about this representation of
Yeah.
Godzilla. I don't know if this is a good or bad representation, but I get the point. It's a
Yeah.
giant dinosaur who terrorizes a city,
It's not really
and then they
bad.
kind of figure out a way to kind of defeat him. Big deal.
Okay.
And then I started obviously hearing more about the classics, and there was a lot of pop culture references to the original Godzillas. There's always the one guy, Godzilla. It's been used as comedy,
Yeah.
and it's been used in seriousness in this film, which I fucking absolutely appreciated
Yeah.
that they included. I mean, just like I watched anime as a kid, a lot of Dragon Ball, and a lot of times it was the undubbed versions or it was just subtitles.
Yeah.
So the entire
subbed
film, by the
versions.
way, for anyone who hasn't watched this movie,
It's in Japanese.
is in Japanese. It's a foreign film.
Well, I
So-
mean, Godzilla started off as
Right.
a Jap, but most of the movies are Japanese.
But I still feel like it's worth mentioning to maybe the layman out there,
True.
like myself,
Yeah,
who
I guess, yeah,
isn't
you know.
up to date with the Godzilla lore. This movie, just like its originals, is entirely in Japanese with subtitles, and I
There's a
really
brief
fucking
English
enjoyed.
news segment in it, but
There,
yes.
Yeah, very brief. But I personally just enjoy listening to the Japanese language. Am I the only
Same.
one? It's
It's
just
beautiful.
so dramatic
Yes,
and beautiful.
like every little thing is like,
And, like,
they're
very
yelling
harsh.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
At
very
the-
anime.
It's very anime.
anime.
And again, that's because
Yeah.
I grew up like watching that as a child. So I would watch it and I'd be like, oh shit, they actually
very
do
passionate.
speak this way. Or they've just all agreed that in any kind of entertainment form,
This
we're
is
going
how
to
it's
do this.
represented, yeah.
This is how we're going to talk. When we're at home talking regular, it's just going to be like totally laid back and like cool. But then when it's a movie, it's like more dramatic, like this is the best. Like that's again, damn it, that's I don't want to sound racist, but that's what it sounds like to me. And I would be perfectly
you mean
fine.
no offense. Of
I
course.
heard
no
yeah.
offense.
all I kept hearing in this movie was like, "Fuck you, Ellen Dolphin! Fuck you, Ellen Dolphin!" That's all I kept hearing. I don't know about you guys.
It came to mind, but I again, the anime stands in the forefront, and I just love that. Like, I just felt like it added to the to the drama of the scene.
Oh,
It added to the
100%,
intensity when they would speak like that.
Yeah.
And then the score.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I don't
the
know.
score
You
takes
guys
from
probably
like
know.
the classic.
Okay, good.
It did. Yeah, it takes
Yeah.
place in the classic.
That's
yeah.
what I figured. That it took from the classic.
So-
'Cause a lot of the audience reacted.
If I may, before we start jumping into it, I just wanted to share like my personal backstory with Godzilla. So,
Shit, that's right. Sorry.
it's all right. So my dad was really into Godzilla, and I remember seeing the monster movies like here and there in my background, like not really fully focused, but I remember seeing bits of it, of course, in the city, and you'd see things like Mothra and Rodan and King Ghidorah. So like these were very familiar characters to me, and as you guys know, I loved the '98 version.
Yeah.
And so interestingly enough, this Godzilla Minus One is the first foreign film I see in theaters since actually Godzilla 2000.
Oh, really?
That was, interestingly enough, the last foreign film I saw in theaters.
I
And
don't
saw
know
it-
if it's actually
yeah,
considered
I
a
saw
foreign
it in the year 2000.
Yes,
and
In the year 2000.
You didn't see Shin Godzilla? That came out like
no,
not too
not
long
in
ago.
theaters. I've seen a lot of foreign movies, just not in theaters.
Oh.
Yeah. So I just thought that was really. I did that. I went back and I'm like, oh shit, no, that was the last time. And I remember my dad was the one who wanted to go to the movies that time, and it's like, and if you guys know my dad, he's very like, put on whatever. He makes no decisions in terms of like, it doesn't matter to me. I don't like stuff. But he was the one that decided to go to the movie theaters. So that said everything.
So your dad was into monsters then?
Yeah.
Your dad was into these
And
classic
sci-fi
monster
stuff,
movies.
yeah, and the action stuff, yeah.
that's
So
awesome, dude.
it was really cool to have that, and I really want to take him to see this. I'm gonna probably have to narrate because he refuses to wear her
Try
glasses.
to look at the movie theater that's on 4th Street. I think they do Spanish subtitles.
Oh,
for
cool.
movies there.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
he refuses to put on glasses, so he's not going to see the subtitles.
He refuses to put on glasses?
I don't blame him.
Like,
Yeah.
he just goes around blind? It's like,
He's not blind,
I
blind.
refuse
At least I don't look like a nerd.
It's like a boom. Hitting
Sorry, sir, I just bumped into you, but do I look like a nerd? No.
Well, he wouldn't even apologize. He would just
like
keep
a
going.
cactus he's flying to. He's like,
Not that bad. Fuck you guys. All right. So no. So I was really
Insane.
excited to see this because of multiple reasons, and I love the legendary versions of
Sounds like it means a
Godzilla
lot,
and
yeah.
the American versions. But then this was another beast in and
Alright.
of itself.
Yeah, I just want to say this one last thing. Like, as a kid, I loved Godzilla, but as I got older and rewatched some of these movies, they're pretty damn ridiculous. Like some of the
King
older
Kong
movies.
versus Godzilla,
part?
like
Are
that
ridiculous.
fucking drop kick that he
It's
does in
so-
midair.
Where did they lose you, Sam? Where did they lose you? Was it the nuclear explosions?
There's a
coming out
very
of the giant
very
lizard's
famous Godzilla scene where Godzilla does this like flying.
He's sliding on his
drop
tail.
kick. Yeah,
Yeah, it's from King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah,
mouth?
that-
Pull that
uh,
up. I need to see it.
And then you
please.
got
Pull
the
that
son
up.
of
You can look it up,
Godzilla.
yeah.
The son of Godzilla is like frightening. that
The
little
son
Godzilla.
of Godzilla?
Yeah, you never seen the son of Godzilla?
No.
There it is.
Oh yeah, you have to
Oh,
show this.
yeah.
They always show this.
I
Look
got
at
the movie
this.
wrong, but
Look at
yeah,
this.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
But this is
Here
an
goes,
actual
baby.
movie that was released.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! They need to make that live like
And then
again.
he goes like, he does yeah. And he comes back and does like a moonwalk or something. Yes.
These are
Dude.
real movies that came out?
Yes.
Yes. This is where Power Rangers got their
Their film
their-
thing from. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean,
Oh,
these movies are
no.
fucking ridiculous. So I mean, but so I haven't. That's why I think I love the 2014 version so much because I feel like it kind of
Well, and that's how the first one
Modernized it.
And the first
Modernized
one
it.
started off with that Leviticus too. Then they
Yeah,
got
yeah.
ridiculous. So
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
cool to have that happen once more for the American audiences.
I
to
will-
start off very having that seriousness to it.
yeah.
I will say that's something that really helped boost this movie up for me and make it like believable and plausible is that it's set in 1950s.
Post-war
Right,
Japan.
no, it's
Yep.
right after the World
Right
War
after
II.
the war, right.
1945.
Late 1940s, but then like it shows a progression where the little girl is like at least 3 or 4 years old. So
Yeah.
it would be
that
late
was
1940s,
the best
early
child
1950s.
actress ever.
Yeah,
by
she was
the
really
way.
good.
She was like
no, it's best child actress ever.
She
Come
was like,
on.
okay,
That's
youngest
hyperbole.
best. Youngest best. Okay, she was like doing stuff, and she was like 3.
I mean,
It was
Dakota
insane.
Fanning and I
Still.
Am Sam is like.
But how old was she, Sam?
If
She
you
was like
include,
really young. I don't know, like 6 or 7
if you
or something. She
include
was
dogs in that category, there's a puppy in there, but too. It does a remarkable job. shedding her
I
tears.
guess you're
Well,
right.
let's get into it.
But-
Yes.
The movie
No,
starts
wait,
off
fucking
with the main
goddammit.
character.
Oh, okay, fine. We're gonna do it that way. I'm
Yeah,
cool. with that.
yeah,
Okay.
right,
Yeah,
right,
we're
okay.
going in order. Yeah.
With the can you put up the characters because it's gonna be a really hard for me to remember. It's a
Kyoshi.
Tashima?
and I don't want to mess up the
Tashima.
names. Shimishaki.
Kyoshi.
What?
Kyoshi.
Oh, that was his first. I just remember his last name. Shikishima.
Yeah,
Shikishimi.
Shikishima. That's what
Shikishima.
they call him a lot.
I
So
apologize.
we do want to apologize for all the
We're gonna-
butcherings of the
Yes,
names we're going to
please.
accidentally
We're
butcher.
gonna fuck this up.
Yes.
I honestly
mean no
it's
offense.
innocence.
So
We love
he
this word.
plays
Morons.
a kamikaze pilot who doesn't want to
Kamikaze.
kamikaze.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he fakes. He lies and he says like my plane is
Yep, he feigns
messed up.
engine
So he
trouble.
goes and he lands on Odo Island.
On
Yep.
Alden Island,
I
yeah.
believe it. What it was.
Yeah, Odo Island, yes.
Yeah, where Godzilla
Attacks that night.
attacks. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And,
Okay.
And
the
he's
way
not
they did
that,
that
big though, or anything.
No,
like that.
he's
like
smaller.
No, he's on
like-
the smaller side, but the way they filmed that, the way that it was in the darkness, the way he came
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
like
The lights shined on him.
everything, the way that we're seeing it from their perspective and looking up, and just the
Right.
destruction. Like, fuck.
I do want to say, and I want to make sure that we reference it because
Actually, I sent that scene to Noel.
It sets up
I sent it to your
Koichi.
email.
Nice.
Yeah,
sets
so
up-
you could play it if you want,
Go Uble.
so we can see it happen.
on the screen behind us.
Oh, he wants to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it on there? Well, then, as he's I don't know what he's. But
I have no idea what's going on over there, but
Yeah.
something that I wanted to say, which is integral to this movie, is the fact that during that scene where you guys just kind of skipped over, they find out that his airplane was perfectly fine.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
mechanics on this island. This sets
Yes.
up the whole movie.
True.
The mechanics on the island are like, hey, man, we inspected your airplane and there doesn't seem to be anything wrong. And he kind of walks away all dramatically. And one specific mechanic goes up to him and he's all like, look, man, I kind of get where you're coming from, No shame in fucking, bailing on your job. We're already losing the war, so whatever. Then Godzilla shows up. He's attacking the island. And they ask that same pilot, go to your airplane. You can make it to your airplane. Use the fucking gun and shoot him.
Yep.
And he makes it to his airplane. And there's this moment of hesitation where like he starts shaking and going into his. And ultimately he fails to shoot the gun.
And everyone dies.
Everybody fucking dies except for the one. So he lives this
Except for the
entire
one
life.
mechanic.
So it sets up this like this story.
Unlikable character.
It sets up the relationship between Koichi and Godzilla, which is I'm afraid of you and I couldn't do the job and therefore people I knew died. And then that's what kind of leads them to eventually, agreeing to
It's a
this.
vendetta, yeah.
It's the vendetta, yes. So, what do you guys think about the storyline with what's her name, Sumiko?
You want to jump ahead?
Sorry, shit.
Yeah.
Wait.
No, well, okay, go for it.
It's just the fact he comes back home and he realizes like everything's been decimated.
That's right.
Yeah, this is the end of World War II.
And it's his fault because the idea that he didn't do his job and he runs into his neighbor whose kids are now dead.
Yeah.
And she blames him.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people blame him. And you have this whole thing of him just feeling the shame of everything, like of being scared, but then like seeing what his actions have now caused.
Yeah.
And it plays such a huge part in this film. It's that idea, of him later on having to rectify things.
His war is not over, as they say.
Yes, his war is not over. And in like Japanese culture, I know that was a kind of a huge thing, like
it's
honor.
dishonor, yeah.
Like basically dating back to the samurai, which is
This gets me to one of the things that I want to talk about. What do you guys think about the fact that they try nothing at all to explain like where Godzilla is from, why he's doing what he's doing? There's nothing at all, any explanation in that whatsoever.
I liked the real world sense of that because you wouldn't really know. I enjoy when that happens when you do it right, at least.
I like that.
But like when he shows
they
up,
have the same questions we do.
when he shows up, they like seem to know like that's Godzilla.
It was a local.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
a local
yeah.
thing.
The
Yeah, it was a
Yeah, yeah.
local.
So that
legend.
implies
Yeah.
that this is it's a lizard that maybe has been growing over time.
Yeah.
To where the locals know enough about, there's this fucking giant lizard that's maybe 8 feet tall. And then the next generation is like, there's this lizard that my parents have spoken of. I've seen
20
it.
feet tall.
It's 20 feet tall.
And that
Well, he
actually
gets-
happens in the movie, though.
He
Yeah.
gets
The very-
bigger because of the atomic bombings that
And the
are going
radiation.
on.
Not only does he
yeah.
get bigger, but his whole
and
physiology
he gets the
changes.
powers and everything.
In
Yeah.
this very first appearance in the clip that I sent Noel, so he could play it, so we could all see it, that I already referenced, I sent it to your email.
Okay.
Are you going to play it for everyone to watch?
No.
Sure, you can put it in.
Okay.
I think he wants
Alright,
you to put it on so that
so-
we can watch it now.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I can reference it properly.
Just
but-
reference it.
Well, the thing is, his entire creature design changes.
From the first scene to the.
I don't know if you recall. Yeah, I mean, I
yeah,
specifically
he's- yeah.
remember. Like, he's way more of a theropod, more of a dinosaur.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very
yeah,
sort of-
yeah.
The snout is longer. The way he moves is much more predatorial.
Yeah.
And then we see his evolution, years later when he shows up, on
Yeah,
Ginza Island. But that even that, it's not just about like he got bigger. Like it's he's evolving. Like he's becoming something else.
Yeah.
So
Well, he got mutated, is what
Yeah.
I would say. He was mutated by the radiation the entire.
No,
Because
so
I
I
think Godzilla is supposed to represent, and what I felt from this movie
Originally.
is sort of like the unstoppable force of war and all the
Nuclear.
death and damage that came to Japan as a result of the war and everything
Yes.
like that. And to the people, I guess there is no the rhyme or reason why it's happening. It's just something that needs to be stopped, and it's something that is just
It's a force of
destroying
nature.
force of nature. It doesn't really care. We don't really know where it's going or anything like that.
Well,
And
And that's tied into Japanese culture, like the gods of calamity and things like that. Like there's no right or wrong. He's not good. He's not evil. He's a force.
So to go back to your question, Sam, no, it doesn't really bother me that they didn't show an origin story. In fact, I think I recently saw that the director was down for a part 2, or maybe already started working on a part 2. Or
They weren't planning on it, but now it's like it's very like
because of
ooh.
its success.
Yeah, I mean it was.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean,
read
the
something.
ending did
the
leave it with
ending-
like ooh maybe,
Yeah.
but now it's like
Maybe.
okay, this could be a real thing. Yeah.
Right. So I would absolutely be on board if the same people involved, specifically the same people involved, decided to go back and do a number 2, where now maybe they
This
do
would be
try to
Godzilla
explain.
0 because we were at -1.
Minus
Now we're
one,
gonna
yeah.
be
Now
Godzilla
it's
0,
the
and then I
balance is
think
even.
at some
+1.
point we're finally get to Godzilla 1.
Godzilla Y
So-
equals X minus Z
Yes.
plus 1 parentheses. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if in part 2 is where they decided to explain some of the origin. But even if they didn't, I agree with you, Arturo, which is that it kind of allows you to feel the exact same confusion and wonder about this giant lizard as the people in the movie. So I'm down for that. To get back to where we were in the movie,
Yeah. So when he gets back into his hometown,
he runs into a fate decides to throw
woman.
someone into his hands.
Yeah.
Literally.
I'm such a sucker
baby.
for like found families in movies and like the whole the
Mandalorian
broken
type.
halves
Yeah.
that make a whole you make yourselves whole. And I love that little family dynamic. The fact that she wasn't even hurt. So the woman that he runs into, it's she's running because she's a thief, and she puts the baby in his hands and this and that, and they get back.
She's like, yo.
It's not even my kid.
Yeet,
Like
yep.
like her parents or her like asked me to take her in when they died.
Yeah.
Like so the fact that everyone is now this adopted family unit, like
Yeah.
it was something another thing that was happening gradually throughout the movie, and it was something
I
that was
like
really
that.
beautiful.
I like
I
that
thought it
too.
was
Yeah.
good. It
I
was
like
a good
that too.
storytelling there, good
Yep.
character development.
Yep.
Yeah, it was good. That whole
the
part with them
interaction-
bringing together.
Yeah, the interactions between them with the little girl
Yeah.
and like how it was just kind of
They basically
they
become a
lived
family.
together, but they were not intimate or
No, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
no, yeah,
They weren't intimate. I
You can
tell
tell they weren't. I mean, it's
no.
the whole,
It was
yeah.
like it was
But
more
they,
like
they
this
really
arrangement.
cared about each other.
Yeah,
as
this
we
arrangement
both
of, like,
as we all
we're
learned.
roommates
Yeah.
here in this situation. We appear as a family, but technically we're all just
Dude,
roommates.
the scene where we're jumping ahead now, but like when they're having that dinner and she calls him daddy and he's like no, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Your dad,
oh my fucking heart, man.
Motherfucker.
Oh,
Yeah.
and even his friends get mad. I would too. Like fucking
So
asshole.
let's get into what
But before
brings
that-
him into
Yeah, how he ends up
Yeah.
back with and
So
Godzilla's path.
he's obviously trying to make money
Yes,
to
make a
support
living.
his new adopted family.
Yep.
He's looking for odd jobs. There's a quick montage of like they're struggling.
Some
and
time passes.
Some time passes.
a couple years, yeah.
He finds a job as a guy
no,
who's gonna
sorry.
go around finding mines in the
Retrieving-
ocean.
Yeah, retrieving
Destroying
ocean
them.
mines
Yes,
that were left by the U.S. during the invasion
and Japan.
And it pays significantly because of the risk.
Yep.
But because he gets teamed up with an awesome
Yeah.
80s ensemble of like
True.
the quirky
band of
scientist,
It was literally
the
Jaws.
young optimistic kiddo, the pessimistic anti-government
Captain, yep.
I'm done with it, and it was just this
And
bad
the-
bunch
and
of
the smart scientists.
yes, and the
Yep.
smart scientists. They were on a specific boat.
Doc and
and
Kid.
he joins them and they're successful. They go long enough making this job work to where he's able to upgrade their little
Yeah.
shack, which was also very cool to see. It
More
just kind
time
of gave you
passes.
that American dream in 1940s Japan, which is if you work hard enough, even if you don't have a college degree, you can make ends meet, you can purchase a home, you can upgrade, you can have a family. So it felt very cool seeing that happen.
He pulled himself from his bootstraps.
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Pulled himself. He stopped buying expensive cappuccinos and built himself a nice little shack.
Anyways,
And-
throughout that little montage, as he's getting
Yeah.
a better life, we get some, as you said, these newsreels in English about Godzilla appearing and so on and so on. So we get to the point where
Godzilla's back.
Godzilla is
Yes.
back, but now he's fucking huge.
Stronger
and he's
than ever.
He's Japanese destroyed this American battleship or something like that.
Yeah.
And these guys
So,
in the
yeah,
little wooden
that
boat.
sequence, man, was badass, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you felt like fear for them. I wasn't sure if they were gonna make it or not.
Oh,
Some
they
of
were
them.
gonna make it.
Well, some of them, like, you know, but
Essentially, they were called to stall. Like it comes out in
Yeah.
the storyline. They're like, dude,
Yeah, that's one of my criticism is that just kind of comes out.
Yeah.
And there's no real like setup or anything, and then the scientist just says,
that's right. They're just there.
"We're just like it
They're in the
actually
ocean.
sets it up as they're just like hunting mines like normal, and then like now they see the ship, and then the scientist all of a sudden says like, "Oh, we were meant here to star." And it's like, wait,
that
what?
was established.
No,
'Cause
it
they weren't
wasn't.
there for the mines.
They weren't there for the mine.
Not in this
Arturo's
particular,
right.
not in
You
this
can-
particular
you can
mission.
Put it up if you want,
Yeah.
but it does. I do agree that it just kind of jolts you from like. There's a scene between probably him and the woman and the child, and then it immediately cuts to where they're already in the ocean,
And
they're having the conversation of like.
there's a reason they preloaded the mines.
Yes.
That's why they had them as
They had
ammunition.
they already had. They were prepared
It-
because they were like, so you're telling me this thing took out one of these boats, and what about this boat? This boat is a structure. And they're like, yeah, but it's gonna take time for that boat to get here, and which Godzilla might reach the shore before that boat gets here. So that's what
they
we're here
send this
for.
wooden boat.
They're like, so
to
we're
go
here.
thaw.
We're here for that to thaw, and it was them and another boat.
Yeah, they're expendable.
And Godzilla immediately takes out the other boat like nothing, and they're like, "Fuck this! This isn't gonna. We're not gonna stop."
Well,
for
the
much."
guy was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be brave," and then once that happens, like, "Oh, let's get the fuck out of here."
he even says it himself. He's like, "Never mind,
mind.
you." Like, even did like, you.
That sequence when they're using the mines and exploding
trying
them,
to
it's
get-
about-
yeah.
and you're at first you're like, oh shit, he got him,
Yes.
and then how quick
It
his
starts
face
regenerating.
healed.
What did you think about
Like,
that? Is that
it was-
canon?
About
yeah.
him regenerating.
yeah.
Every
enough.
movie is kind of different
That
with
fast,
like
though?
how
He does regenerate,
But that
but
fast, though?
exactly that varies.
That very.
Yeah.
But the fact that it happened that quick, I was like,
Yes.
"Fuck, that's
That
it."
threw
There's
me
no
off.
defeating him. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
I have
And
to
I
say
love that they
that
kept the flesh a different color too.
the
Yeah,
CG
underneath the
Yeah.
yeah,
I
scales.
have to give credit to the CGI in
Right.
certain
Yes.
scenes. It's
With
really
on a
good.
$15 million budget.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, the Flash, with $200 million in your
yeah,
budget.
the Flash should be embarrassed. They should have been embarrassed no matter what. I mean,
no matter
yeah.
what. I mean, no matter.
But
what.
yeah, the CGI is really good here.
Really well done. Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little wonky, but I mean, I
helped
kind of
with, like,
forgive it
the-
because of the budget.
And the
Yeah.
film did have a subtle graininess to it, and I feel like because of the time era.
Yeah.
So then it really blended
was
well
intentional.
with Godzilla.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
the scenes in him in the ocean, I think, are great.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we get to him getting into land is where I think I had some issues with, but
Critiques.
whatever. Anyways, but yeah, I
Yeah.
agree that whole scene is really good, and him following the boat really reminded me of Jaws. You know, you brought that
Yeah,
up. Like
there was a lot of
that was
Jaws
very
to
much
this,
like
man.
Jaws,
Yes.
where like the shark is chasing the boat, and you know they're shooting at it
Yeah.
and everything like that. But yeah, it's that was a great scene, and all the stuff in the ocean was great. Yeah. Anything else you guys about that?
It
scene?
gave me mad anxiety. No, past that. scene, of course, you're in the ocean. Fuck that. I'll fuck all of this. But they eventually are able to escape because they time it correctly to where they put a mine in his mouth. They explode it, and that's where you see his head explode. Right? That's
His
how they
cheek.
eventually
Yeah,
get away.
yeah,
Oh, no,
yeah.
no.
His cheek.
Just as you think all fate is lost because he's starting to recharge.
Yeah.
That's where it happens, which is
The other boats
the
get there and they
battleship,
start
yeah.
shooting
that
at them.
main strong with the whole point why they were stalling
Was for the
military
battleship.
ship.
was for that
stuff, yeah.
big battleship to show up, and that battleship shows up, and then that scene where Godzilla is taking down that specific warship, and that warship still holds its ground even though it gets really fucked up. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
It's still shooting its cannons while Godzilla is like
on it?
crawling on
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that shit was fucking awesome for me. I will say I had a few drinks prior to watching this movie, so I was like, "Fuck yeah, woo!" And people were like, "Shh, my kids are here." Fuck you! No, I'm kidding.
That's exactly what it did.
no, man. I was totally.
That
into
sounds like
this
something
movie.
that Arturo would do.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
right
yes.
before he takes a picture with the
Like,
other
"Fuck
people.
you!"
Yeah.
Anyone
No.
want to take a photo with me?
So and then remind me. This is where he's able to go back to Japan.
He gets
to
onto
Tokyo.
land.
Yeah, and he warns
hits.
them.
He hits Giza.
Ginza, yeah.
What is it?
Ginza.
That's
Ginza,
right. That
yeah.
city.
Where
And then we find out Nordico. That's her, like
her job, because she got
his partner.
she
I
got a
guess.
job and in Ginza, and she's there working.
No, but he
and,
wants to warn the government. The government straight up says, in very government fashion, which is, we can't cause hysteria. What would happen if we announced this? Everyone would go crazy. So we're just going to stay quiet, even though we know Godzilla is making its way toward shore. So that's what kind of causes everything to kind of start up. And then he gets to Giza. Godzilla's attacking. Now, this is a very important part for me because it almost kind of made the movie... Oh, fuck, without spoilers.
No, we are doing.
we are
spoilers.
doing.
Yeah,
spoilers.
no, I know, but without jumping from beginning to, from middle to end. So for the people that have watched this movie, there's a scene where he's with the girl, like he finally catches up with her, which, by the way, what are the odds of him fucking finding her? Like, it would be like someone's attacking Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles, where my wife has a part-time job in one of the many skyscraper buildings.
Not only that, but before that, she was in the train.
Yeah,
and Godzilla
that
picked it up
fucking
and
picked
dropped
up
them in
and
some
dropped
random.
random
Like,
part of-
luckily, just dropped them in the
real
place
quick,
where he
though,
was.
that scene, which was in the trailers and was like a very pivotal scene of just the way that built up, of just having it go, and the music, the score that was
Well done.
happening, and the way she turns and just looks and
Yeah.
like
No,
fuck.
trust me, I
And
have
just
no issue with
the
that part.
stomping of the feet, the way he like reveals
I
himself.
think
I don't
that's
know
where
if
the
Noel
song
has
comes
the
out.
scene right now.
I think
Yeah.
that's where the
that
song
scene
comes out.
was just
Yes.
so fucking
I think that's where the song comes out for the
epic.
first time, which is the classic like dun dun dun, and you get that anyway.
So good.
The odds of him finding her in that chaos already impossible, but he does it. All right, so I'll disbelief, magic of cinema, whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's a massive explosion. She pushes him into safety between buildings, and you clearly see her being
Dude.
like fucking like with the wave of the
Have you seen this, by the way?
Yeah, but massive explosion?
Okay, no, let's
It's
back up.
strong enough.
Let's back up.
Let's
hold on,
talk
hold
about
on.
his
So
atomic
exactly. I was gonna say, let's back the fuck up real
Okay.
quick. So
Atomic
this
breath.
This hold
mean,
on.
it's-
So this
He destroys the
pivotal
city.
as
Yeah,
fucking
that's right.
moment
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah.
the fucking movie.
Yeah.
So we're all familiar with Godzilla's atomic breath, the heat breath, what have you?
Yeah.
Heat beam.
Mentos.
It's we all are familiar with it, and the fact that in this film, so this film actually
Look at
copied the 2014 version of like having the beam start at the tail,
Start at
and
the
it's
tail?
just this
Yeah, I noticed
epic
that, yeah.
just building thing, and his
And the
dorsal
sound
fins
effects.
are now spiking up
sound
as they
effects.
go, they're protruding, and then he fucking launches. Sorry, and then
third time
everything
he's
is
hit me.
fucking exploding. Look at this! Look at this!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an atomic bomb.
This is
like
what
that. Look
at
I immediately thought of you guys with what you wanted Oppenheimer to be.
Yes,
Right?
that's exactly what
Yes.
I thought.
Oh,
Yes.
shit.
This
You
is what I
felt
wanted.
the fucking fear.
You
This
guys
is
have-
what I wanted
yeah.
from Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Oppenheimer didn't show the bombs being dropped or anything. This is what
Well,
when you had
the
the
bomb,
Trinity.
like that's what you wanted. Like I felt a sense, like all
All
of
of
that.
these
I was
scenes,
like,
yep.
holy fucking
Yep.
shit!
Yep.
The
And the fact
sound.
that now that is the thing where Noriko sees it happen and she shoves him out of into the alley
Yes,
and she
okay.
gets fucking
So
blasted.
it's not a massive explosion.
Dude.
That was an understatement of the day.
Yes, major understatement.
It's-
like holy fuck,
Yeah.
man.
See, so okay, so to get back, thank you very much.
it's an
because I
atomic
definitely-
bomb basically
Yeah, an
going
atomic-
off.
And this is, had she hidden inside of a 1950s refrigerator, I would have believed it. But she didn't. She just pushes him, and she clearly
And
gets
she
blown away.
flies.
Chunks of rock flying in her direction, and then you don't see her anymore.
Well, that might get addressed in the sequel because of obvious. We'll
Maybe.
get to it. We'll
I
get
don't
to
think
it.
they'll retcon that one. But
No,
What
not
happened is that
retcon.
there was
You
a
saw the
pillow
fina-
factory,
you-
Uble.
Yeah.
There was a pillow factory
Pillow
that
factory
also
that
exploded,
saved her.
and the pillows
Well,
went flying,
we'll
and
get
she
to it.
just
We'll get to
landed
it.
on the pillows.
so clearly, a
So
lot of
I mean,
our
at this point, yeah.
a lot of our viewers probably already know why I'm
Wait,
upset
wait,
with
wait,
that.
but I just-
go on.
Well, we'll get to that.
Can I say one thing? So, like,
Yeah.
this whole scene of him destroying the city for the first time, definitely cool. All that I liked and everything.
Fuck yeah.
I have to say though, like there were moments in this, and his walk was very, very like
Godzilla-like?
robotic. No, it was just robotic.
No, it was very. It was
was like-
lumbered.
Yeah,
he was like,
it was.
Boom. And then
It
like
was.
his face has like no movement or reaction or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it just feels like it's a robot moving done.
So that's actually.
And then all of a sudden
yeah.
they cut to another scene and he's just like and he's like really he's got a lot of movement and then back to another one. Back down. He's like a robot again. Like
okay.
god
Hold
damn
on.
it. God,
Sam.
like,
Sam.
No, that is
Sam.
that is a
Sam. Sam,
Yes.
I agree with you.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
What the
That's actually
fuck?
one of my nitpicks. One of my nitpicks.
I don't
is
think
the,
that's a nitpick. I think that's
Oh well, for me, it was one of the things that drew it back just a little bit because
it ruins like your
you do.
But have
And,
you
and to
seen-
me, the reason why it ruined it even harder, sorry if I may, is the scene that Noel refuses to play that I sent him so we could see it and you won't have to look it up because it's hard to look it
look
up.
at what we're watching
Hold on,
now.
hold
like
on,
how
hold on.
he's moving
The
so
scene in
gracefully.
the scene in the island, the scene on the island, on Odo Island, how well he moved.
Yeah,
and
he moves really
maneuvered.
well, yeah.
And when he was that more T-Rex version was badass and terrifying.
Yeah.
And then we
but then
got
in the ocean, he's
hold on,
also
hold on.
moving.
Yes, and I agree. But then when we got him on the street and he's just
yeah, it's
that
like
took away from me because
It-
how
it
is
almost-
that your evolution to me personally? How is that your evolution of now you're just lumbering along, but then you sped up randomly, but then you lumbered back?
Yeah,
that
it's almost
T-Rex
comedic.
version was so much
I'm
it's
scarier
comedic
to me.
it was comedic to me.
I
It was
have-
like come on, and then
I
his
have
face.
bit my tongue long enough. I will have none of this insolence.
Yeah, I still liked it,
First
but like
off-
I just thought the T-Rex version was scarier.
Have you seen?
Yeah,
have
I
you
mean-
seen the Galapagos dragon documentary footage where
Wait,
it's
what?
like
No, no, no.
it shows? I'm just talking about
Like Komodo dragons.
large dragons that are more commonly found
Wait.
on the Galapagos Island.
Wait, large dragons? Komodo
no,
dragons.
Komodo dragons.
Okay.
Yes, that's like actual living lizards that exist right now.
Yeah.
If you see them,
which is
you-
very
they- which-
rare, like just
No.
Godzilla is like a living lizard,
I'm just saying
Yeah.
that your argument is that doesn't seem plausible. Why are they so agile?
It's not the
Why are
possibility.
they so agile in the ocean and able to move quickly? And when they were younger, they were like so clearly moving. But now that they're older and bigger, they seem to move slower, as if they
Wait.
were older. and
Wait.
bigger.
Hold on.
Like it just doesn't.
Hold
you're-
on.
you're-
No.
you're-
Alright,
It's the
alright.
inconsistent. No. It's the
Where's-
inconsistency within one scene to another because while he's on land, there are scenes like the scene where
Where
he's
he's
about
fast.
to throw his heat ray and he's
Yeah.
moving like very like animated and everything like that.
To that same
and other
point.
points where he's destroying
Right.
buildings, he's moving his tail and it's
To
very
the same
animated.
point.
And then like the next scene, he's like. Dung, dung. And
To
then he's
the
like
exact
walking
same
like my
point.
toy robot transformer
Pull up a
thing. And
Komodo
it's-
dragon live footage. To the same point, Sam. To the same point is just like
Put you on
you
the spot,
or
baby.
any other living being. There are parts where you're just
Komodo.
like walking.
K-O-M-O.
They don't walk like that though.
Where you're
D-O.
just walking. No, not upright. Clearly, fucking goddamn it. Clearly, I'm not talking about how they walk upright. I'm talking about how the speed of how they talk. When they're just like walking down the beach, right? And it's like, I already had my meal. And I really have nothing to do. I might go visit my buddy, Dragon Joe. They're not like fucking walking like, oh, I gotta fucking hurry the fuck up. Gotta do a somersault and like be all agile. They're fucking lounging. They're just like, oh,
Okay.
fucking
But-
Hold
this
on.
guy.
but
You,
they
you
move-
hold on. Wait. You both make really, really good points.
Okay.
Ula, you are pointing
Thank
at
you.
lizards,
That's all
especially
I'm
lizards, because they're cold-blooded.
That's what
so
Godzilla is
they're
supposed to be.
often slow, and then they start moving quickly.
Yeah.
When they need to.
Right.
Like
That's
I
what
agree with
Godzilla
that.
does.
But however, like what Sam pointed out too, is like the fact is that sometimes you just see Godzilla being so still, and he's just like lumbering. That's more of the
Okay.
like. If
All right.
if there was
Yeah.
a bit more fluidity to those
his head
stiller
Yeah.
movements,
moves and like
Yeah.
it's more animal like.
it'd feel a lot more fluid as a whole.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just
I can see that.
feels
Yeah.
like they put the toy on, they turned him on,
Yeah.
and like he just started like my machines just started going. Doom,
Yeah.
doom. It's
Yeah.
like that's
Need some WD-40 over here. And
yeah.
kinda
Yeah. All
finally
of a
started
sudden
doing-
he's
yeah.
just like oh.
All right. Yeah.
My
All right.
neck
That was
a little. Look at that video. He's when he moves like he's
Yeah.
there's
It's more fluid.
there's a dance to it.
All right,
There's a
I can
dance.
see that. You know what did take me out for me though? I guess I'm still jumping ahead. Unless you guys
it's
have
alright.
anything else to.
I mean, it's a little messy now. It's
The
all
one
good.
thing that did take it out for me was ultimately they figure out a way to defeat Godzilla. I guess
Yeah.
I'm brushing over that part, but he I had to say more. He leaves the daughter with the quirky neighbor.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, after Noriko gets blown away and
Killed.
lands in the
Yeah.
pillow factory.
Yeah.
And then, he like his love that he never got a chance to express is
done.
is basically crushed him, and
Like,
he's
when we
like
get the
he
news where it's
vows
like,
for vengeance. I mean, he's screaming
Oh,
at
yeah.
like
Yeah.
Godzilla is still destroying things and
yes, I remember
walking
so
away.
epic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I was gonna add just like you should have married her when you got the chance. Like, don't you think I wanted to? And it's
Yeah.
like, oh,
But my war wasn't over
My
yet.
war wasn't
Yeah,
over. I'm
man,
like,
that's where the line comes
fuck. Yeah.
So now it establishes even more of a reason why poor Koichi is after.
What did you say?
poor
Oh.
Koichi.
Koichi.
I thought he said pork
Or is it
oishi.
Koichi?
Poor Koishi.
Poor Koishi?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I again
I heard
apologize
something
for my
way
pronunciation.
different.
Sam's brain is somewhere else. Anyway,
Think about pork, weren't you?
I get
I thought
it.
I was like poor Koichi.
Poor
Like, what
Koichi.
the hell?
You're just hungry, man.
No, I don't eat pork.
Not yet.
So it just adds more of a reason why he has it out for Godzilla.
Yes.
Is what happened on the island, and now taking away this person that he never had the ability to express his love for. So he basically goes out there and is like, I'm ready. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Suicide
go.
mission. I
Well,
don't care.
and I thought it was really interesting too. I agree with what you're saying. Like before we just get to the fact that the government was like, well, we're not going to lift a finger.
Yes.
Yeah, the government. But that's the other thing is like they just kind of say that, and as an audience, we have to kind of accept. But I mean, obviously, in this kind of situation, you would have
Something.
the entire country be like, we need to fucking settle this thing because we have a giant ass creature
Well, I mean, you're
destroying our entire island.
You're describing two very different types of governments.
And
though.
there's other movies where, like, when Godzilla attacks, the
Yeah.
entire government the
Well,
whole
again,
military goes after
you're
him.
talking about two very different governments in two very different times.
Yeah, I know this government has already lost, and they
Yeah.
maybe don't have the
They're-
power or whatever.
And
maybe.
they don't
Yeah.
want to.
That's fine.
Under budgets.
So the
But
fact
anyway-
that it was like a citizens thing.
So the
that-
people
that
have to
had
come
to be.
together.
Yeah.
Former
I
military
thought that
people
was
come
cool.
together
Yeah.
and they
I love that.
figure out this an idea.
They
This-
figure out
the
the
scientist-
quirky scientist who,
this
by the
quirky
way,
guy comes out
he's
and
all like, he puts on this suit, and his own buddies are like, man, who do you think's gonna give this fucking important conference on how to bring down Godzilla? And then their old shipmate is like, excuse me, guys, I got somewhere to be, and he just goes up there and he's all like, I'm the head scientist of this place, and everyone's
was
like,
cool.
oh fuck,
Oh, yeah.
and
yeah, I
we're
really
gonna
like that
sink
point.
Godzilla to the bottom.
Yeah,
I mean, that was
then-
clever. I was wondering how they were going to do it. Yeah. I'm like, oh, shit.
I was
yeah.
gonna ask you guys if this was something that has been used in previous Godzilla movies, or if this is the first.
No, it's the
This is
first
the
time I've
form
seen it.
of-
At least I don't know
Yeah,
any.
as far
Maybe
as I know.
What has been?
I
the
haven't
more
seen all
popular
50
form
movies,
of-
so I don't know.
What has been from the movies that you guys have watched? What has been the more popular form of killing Godzilla?
King
Is
Kong.
it
That's-
put a King Kong on him, and then who
Man,
had
how does he
King
how does he get killed in the original? I can't remember anymore.
nuclear bomb?
I
in
know,
his
like
mouth?
the military just starts like going after him, but
was a huge
damn it, I don't
mission
remember. How does he
accomplished.
die?
Puppies and rainbows, I think.
I don't
Man,
remember.
you
We need
guys
to go
are
back and rewatch.
really-
It's been a long
Yeah.
time since I've
Yeah.
seen it. It's
You
been a
guys
long
try
time
to-
since I've seen
Try
it.
to come at me with like, we're the Godzilla experts.
Well,
Oh, yeah, the
I'm not a
1952
Godzilla
movie.
expert.
Yeah.
You
But- and-
specifically at the beginning, roll the clip. At the beginning of the movie, you said, I'm a Godzilla
I said I
expert.
liked Godzilla when I was a kid.
Oh.
And then as an
Godzilla
adult,
expert.
I
Again,
take
I
it or leave it.
digress. I really liked the fact that it was creative. I think it was too far
Yeah.
ahead of its time. Like talking about late 1950s, and you
No,
have this
I mean,
technology
they-
to be like,
No, they. What are you talking about? Submarines were existed in
Yeah,
that. They
but-
understood. They understood how
I
to
guess.
bring down
Yeah,
things,
I
like
Pressure. Yeah.
buoyancy. They understood water pressure, all
But
that
no,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was really cool.
I don't think any of that was
I felt like it was
anachronistic.
too soon after that whole submarine incident with the billionaires going down under to watch the Titanic. I felt like maybe it was a bit too soon. I was
Too
like,
soon.
yo, bro, come on, dude.
Insensitive.
Really? That's how you're going to kill Godzilla is making him go so deep that the
Make
pressure,
it implode.
the water pressure implodes him. Whoa, come on, man, that's not cool.
The water pressure is supposed to, crush him.
Crush
but
him.
if that doesn't work,
Right.
they're gonna bring him back up to decompress. So he's supposed to
Immediately.
basically stretch out and like basically come
And
apart.
explode.
I mean,
Yeah,
science-wise,
That's true.
correct.
That's correct. Yeah.
That would kill me.
That's what I really liked about this too. That
Yeah.
I'm like, you had these things that are actually
Sure.
based in science. Like I love that. Like
Yeah.
as a science nerd, like it's really cool to see proper science.
And
I think he even
everybody
says
knows
it.
that
Yeah.
if you get hit by an atomic bomb, you get heat rays coming out of your mouth, and you turn into a giant lizard. Everybody knows this.
I wish.
Science has
There's
proven
a-
this.
There's
I
a movie that is
wish.
scientifically accurate. It is this one for
Yes,
sure.
100%.
But I get it. I
But,
get what
yeah.
you're saying. Yeah.
And then ultimately, we also have Koichi's like revenge mission, and he knows that he needs to
There
find
it
the
is.
mechanic
He's
to
got
help him
final.
with this. So
Yeah.
it's a good
I like
full
that.
circle
He's
moment.
trying to
Yeah.
get full redemption with everybody
Yep.
that he
Yeah.
feels he's been he's has
pulls
this
up.
carries his shame.
Did you guys catch when they were explaining everything? He's like, "Oh, there's one more thing I have to show you," and it pans
And it
out.
pans
I'm like,
out
"I knew it."
immediately.
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh, you're
That's
gonna
yeah.
Dark Knight this one, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool."
Yep.
Eject seat at
Dark
the
Knight
end.
Rises,
Got
yeah.
it.
All right, well, we're getting ahead of ourselves
That's
here.
true. That's
Oh,
true.
that's true. Yeah,
So
yeah.
so, go ahead. Go for it.
We're mincing the scene.
They have
yeah.
a plan. They have this
Yeah.
plan to sink Godzilla. And
bring
our
him
main
up.
character is supposed to take this plane, which is actually a kind of a newer
was a
technology
modern one,
plane
yeah.
that they were making for the war, but they never finished it because obviously it lost the war.
Yeah.
They're gonna
And
put a
so he
bunch of
gets the
warheads on
mechanic.
it.
He gets the mechanic to make it flyable and
From
put
the beginning of the movie, the island, the one mechanic that survived.
Yeah. And so that's the plan. So he's
Yeah,
gonna
Mr.
fly
Tachibana.
and basically get
Tachibana.
Godzilla to get to the specific part of the bay where they're gonna sink him and whatnot. And the whole time we are led to believe that this is a suicide mission for him. Well, a possible suicide mission if it is the case
Yeah.
that the sinking
Like,
and lifting
And
doesn't
he
work.
even he leaves his daughter with the no.
Yes, he leaves the daughter with the neighbor.
Well,
bunch
he
of
no, he
cash.
doesn't leave her with the. He just leaves her there.
That's
just
right.
Gives her the
That's
envelope.
right.
Or leaves her with the
Knowing that
envelope.
the answers
But
that
I'm
the
like,
neighbor's
oh,
gonna be involved. Yeah,
like,
he could have. How would you
Come
have known?
on.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Again, man, parenting back in
yeah.
the day was a lot easier. I'm not saying it was safer. I'm just saying it was a lot easier for parents.
And then his homie being pissed. Like if you make Akiko like an orphan, like I'll never forgive you.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't respond. I'm like, oh my god.
Did you guys see, much like Chekhov's gun, did you guys know that the kid not being allowed to join the mission would somehow come? Because as soon as they,
Yeah.
Yeah,
as soon
that
as
wasn't
they
the
said
end of
you
his
can't,
story.
I was like, you're going to come back. You're going to be a heroic scene at the end, which I was fine with,
Yeah.
but I kind of saw it coming.
In the end, it doesn't really do much besides help pull the boat and
Which
get
was pivotal.
Godzilla to come
Pivotal.
back up.
yeah. I mean,
But then, I
he
guess.
was cool. I liked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he had great hair, by the way.
Great hair.
Yeah, every time he took off his hat, I was like, wow.
Anyway,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
mission was that even with Plan A sinking him and Plan B immediately bringing him up to surface, he still had a Plan C, which was I've rigged this airplane with explosives because I've learned that he's most vulnerable inside.
In and around his mouth.
In or around his
his
mouth.
mouth, yes.
Yeah. So he decides I'm going to shoot myself into his mouth and then explode while I'm in his mouth. I should probably choose better wording for this one, but
Basically putting
That's-
super bad.
that's-
That's where it all came.
that's essentially what happens. And
He's going to explode in his mouth.
There's the pivotal scene where you see him just aiming towards his mouth. Godzilla
After he's been sunk. So
is
they're
about
successful.
to shoot. Yeah, they're successful.
So let's get to the
Yeah.
actual thing.
Get
So
to
they're
that part.
successful.
Yeah.
They managed to get Godzilla to sink all the way, and you see him and everything like that. But he
Yeah.
obviously doesn't die. And so they do
he
Plan
die?
B, which is raise him up and decompress him as fast as possible, right? And then that's when the guy comes.
that's when
because
the
the
technical
Godzilla is
difficulties-
pulling down the
ropes.
the ropes.
Yeah.
So they come all the small boats. It reminded me of Dunkirk actually, but I don't know if you guys have seen
I
that
can
movie.
see
Yeah,
that. I
fuck
was gonna
yeah.
say
I
the
like
little boat
Dunkirk.
that could.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
It's a Nolan
Yeah,
film. Of
so,
course I
yeah,
watched
that's
it.
right.
Yeah.
And so they all pull him, and then Godzilla comes out, and he comes out, and he's still alive, but he's all kind of fucked up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's
He looks beat
damaged.
up, man.
He's
Yeah.
damaged, but he's still alive, and he's about to shoot his heat ray, and you get this slow motion where somehow everybody removes their hats at the same time.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, it is a bit over dramatic at certain
Well,
points.
Sam, have you ever been in a situation like that?
and I would not. I would
Exactly.
not
You would
worry
not-
about.
You would not know because
I would not worry about removing my hat.
If you're in a situation like this, Sam, you realize everyone takes off their hats at the same time.
It was
yeah.
just like we're about to die.
All right, guys, just like we planned it. Just like we planned it, you guys.
It's like,
This is what all the trainings have worked up for.
it's just like
There's the one guy who gets it wrong and he does it early. No, you fucking God. All right, let's go. You know what happened.
But then, of course, here comes our main character.
Fuss flying in,
kiddo.
and you hear in the background, and they say that again.
Yeah. This is Nickelback right there.
I like
plain,
that.
Right?
There
It just
needs to
came
be an
in.
edit.
Save us.
There needs to be an edit.
Yes,
that or
that
Enrique
actually is in the
Iglesias.
movie. He's not joking. That's actually in the
In the
movie.
movie, yeah.
That's
From
very
Spider-Man,
weird.
yeah.
It really took me out of the movie, to be honest.
Same.
Yeah,
Same.
I was like, what the fuck?
But I
Nickelback
liked
in a
it.
Japanese movie?
I liked it.
Anyways,
Wasn't this song in Spider-Man?
he flies. He's got nuclear weapons on his plane, I believe, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
he
Or
does. Yeah,
is it nuclear weapons or is
yeah.
it just
It's
giant
big
bombs?
bombs.
It's
Oh, big
warheads.
bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
big
warheads.
bombs.
And then he flies into
Godzilla's mouth.
Godzilla's mouth. and then-
Right before he goes into the mouth,
He also ejects.
he ejaculates.
Yeah, we
No,
see
he
the-
he
he ejaculates. He ejaculates out of the plane.
He ejects. There you go.
he ejects. He
It's
ejects.
the same thing. It starts with eject.
Ejects. He ejects.
Ejects.
Ejaculate.
They sound the same,
Eject.
right?
Ejects. He ejects.
From
He
the
ejects
plane.
out of the plane.
Go finish. Go.
Well, we see the explosion first. You see the explosion first.
We're still talking about the movie, right?
Yeah, and Godzilla's head basically explodes, and everybody thinks that our main character is dead. But
He sings dramatically.
but then everybody goes like, "Look!" And then he comes
And
with
the theme song came back on, and then they
Nickel-
say that.
That's right. That's right.
And
And then they flash back to a scene where the mechanic is telling him, "I put in the ejection button or seat, whatever,
Yeah, pull here.
and you need to live."
yes,
Because
because the whole time the mechanic was giving him a hard time
because
For
he didn't
surviving.
fucking
because
commit
he fucking
suicide.
bailed
as part
on
of it.
him.
Yeah,
He bailed not just because he didn't commit suicide, because
he didn't
pull
save
the trigger
he didn't pull the
Yeah,
trigger.
yeah,
on
that's
the
true.
gun when he
That's
was
true,
told
on
in
top
the
of
beginning.
that.
So that's where it comes full circle, which is the redemption with the mechanic, the mechanic's the growth in life from like you should have died to like no, you need to live, live, brother. So that made that whole scene even more beautiful.
Yeah, and I think this is where the movie I think is at its deepest.
I
and I
realized he
think
was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, this
This
is Hulk Hogan's son.
this is where I have to give credit to the movie and how it uses Godzilla as this sort of metaphor
Yeah.
representation of this Japan of the war, which was like very much
Move on.
kill or be killed, like fight unto the last man. Like human life doesn't really matter. You are nothing compared
Yes.
to the empire, which is the most important thing. And
That's what they
Godzilla
were-
kind of represented that on top of everything that has to do with war and the force of nature of it and everything. And so once they kill Godzilla, they're past that sort of for the Japanese, like getting past that like
Yeah.
mentality. And like we're now going to value life, and we're not just going
Yeah,
to, send our men to die and whatnot.
That was beautiful. All of
Yeah,
it.
I definitely enjoyed that part. I would say
Yeah.
that was good.
So you get back
And-
to shore, they're all celebrating. Like, I think we did it, you guys. We
And
defeated
then
Godzilla.
that's
You
when
get
he
the
gets the
telegram.
note.
Corky neighbor shows up, and she's
And-
like, "You fucking stupid ass! Look at this."
Well,
And that's-
first,
and
how
when
dare
he-
you leave me like this, or leave her? And then it was like, and I also have this,
Yeah.
the telegram.
yeah,
And that's where he reads like, "It's okay. I landed on a pillow factory. I'm still alive. Come, got for me at the hospital."
I had the Iron Man Mach 5
No.
suit.
When that
was
that
summoned to
happened,
me.
dude, like I got so choked up, man.
I listen.
Did you
listen.
wait? It was a little.
it was
Poor-
perfect.
It was too
predictable
Bollywood,
one.
man.
No,
Yeah.
I loved
it
it,
was
man.
too Bollywood,
I-
The
man.
Even
fact, the fact that
it
she was
gets
still
a little
alive,
over-
dude.
I get. Look, listen. Either don't show the atomic explosion to be that strong.
well, okay.
that
Well,
threw
let
her
me
into-
let me get into
Hold on.
that. Hold on. Okay,
Hold on,
Go ahead.
hold on,
Go
no,
ahead.
no,
Go
no,
ahead.
let
Yeah,
you
go ahead.
hold on.
Go ahead.
Don't show that explosion to be that strong,
Yeah.
or show her her wounds to be more severe.
Well, okay.
Like fucking throw on more bandages.
Okay.
Jesus, if they would have done a comical
Okay.
Like everything is bandaged except for the eyes.
Okay.
And he walks in and he's all like, "Fuck." I'm sorry. Do I know you?
Am I in the right room?
And she's like, he's like, I can't understand what you're saying. What are you saying? And then the nurse is like, this is the girl that you were gonna marry. You're like, oh, what? And, you know, that would have been more
Really?
believable.
That whole thing, yeah.
Maybe not that exact scene. Okay, all jokes aside.
Yeah. Well,
if they her
okay.
like her skin
Okay.
was
Okay.
not,
All
like,
right. Okay.
Okay,
All right,
you
all right.
agree. Okay.
Hold on.
Then my case is done. Good night, everybody.
Yes, up until I agree.
Have a dark night.
Up until the point where they hug, and you see that black smear growing on her neck.
It's because she's been mutated by the radiation.
I was
She's also
wondering
going to
what that
turn into a
was.
lizard.
I thought they were just being like cool with the
Science.
No, it zooms into it and it grows. So clearly something
saved her.
happened.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed that part, dude. I don't remember it growing.
That didn't happen, yes. And
Yeah,
then
it was like a venom thing, like the symbiote
A
was spreading.
symbiote.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
the fuck? What do you think they were trying to imply?
I don't know, but it definitely we can explore it in a sequel,
the fuck?
and which
and that's where the scene in the movie ends. Is
No.
on the growing symbiote. On her
no,
neck.
it
there's
doesn't end
another
there.
scene where
ends with
the
the
pieces
head.
of Godzilla and it
Oh,
starts to grow back.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
starting
You're
to
right.
grow
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
So
That's- yeah.
It cuts to that, and then
Yeah.
it's the pieces. Yeah, which was one of the earlier films. They did that somewhere too, where like his heart keeps beating,
Maybe.
and it regenerates.
It regenerates.
Yeah.
Oh,
By the way,
man.
you broke your mic at some point, dude.
I did? Oh, okay.
The screw came
That's
out. Of the
all
mic.
right.
Well,
Well-
one screw loose.
Hey.
Oh, dang, that's not good. Okay, well, anyways,
closing
well, that brings
thoughts?
us to the end.
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Dude, 55 minutes, nice.
Yeah, all right, yeah. Any closing thoughts before we get to our grades?
I fucking I risked getting a UTI for this movie. I really enjoyed the fact that it was in
What's
Japanese.
your grade? Yeah.
Oh, I give it fucking 100%.
100%.
No,
Seriously?
No, sorry.
Out
I
of
spoke too soon.
out of 100.
out of
100% out of 1,000%.
out of 150. No, I forget the fact that it had that scene with her getting exploded and then no
Landing
sign.
on the pillow factory.
I'd probably give it like a good 90. A nice even A, man. Definitely
Wow.
doesn't. Yeah, it
God
doesn't.
dang,
It's not
man.
less than an A, man. It's
Yeah.
not less than an A. Again, I enjoyed the classic score. I enjoyed that it was in Japanese. I enjoyed the
was in-
storyline. No, I did.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
would have given it this high a score if it was in
when
English.
I watch
I
movies,
like
I
that it
always
was in
enjoy that
19
they're in English.
I like that it was in the 1940s. Some movies work better in English. The Big Lebowski, probably better in English. I don't know if I would give it a higher score because it was in Japanese.
Yeah.
This movie gave it a higher score because it was in Japanese. Also the score, also the point of the movie. I mean, I really enjoyed. It was those few things, which is like the whole scene with the girl and getting exploded, and then she's fine, and yeah, not much more. You guys.
Me?
You're next in the row.
Okay, sure. I'm going to give it a B plus. I still think it's a decent movie. For me, it was sometimes a bit over dramatic. Like as Uble said, I do think the ending was a bit like kind of like okay, you know. It's not that it ruined the movie for me or anything like that, but yeah, like I said,
I could have done it better.
I feel the Godzilla design was good for the most part, but I didn't like some of the way he moves. We didn't talk about during the ocean scenes at the end. He's like standing on the ocean. I don't know how the hell Godzilla is doing this. I guess underwater his legs are moving incredibly fast to keep him
water.
to keep him standing.
His tail, dude.
Oh, I guess his tail is
his
keeping him
tail.
up.
Yeah.
But I mean, his tail
Stupid
must be
ass.
moving.
All
Oh,
it has to do is this.
Stupid.
really? For him to be like,
dumbass.
have you ever seen
Have
like?
yes.
Have you never had a
seen
tail?
Lizards with big tails.
And
The way
they
they
jump
move?
up like this. I mean, I've seen dolphins do it, but they're like
Otters.
You can see how hard they're trying, and he's just like
Well, that's
standing.
a dolphin's entire
Dolphins
body.
are
He's
no
just like, I
water.
know, to keep themselves up.
That's
This
a
is
dolphin's
like
whole body.
this
You
is a
big-
Godzilla that's a billion.
Have you seen
tall.
how long his tail was?
I know it's long, but I mean, it's
Have you never seen Bill Nye the Science Guy?
Yes, of course I have seen Bill Nye the
That
Science
has
Guy.
nothing to do with this topic. I was just curious because I was thinking about it.
I just find it funny because
Yeah.
during the movie I was just thinking like, man, that
I was just
Godzilla's
thinking
legs
afloat.
underwater are probably going like
Little
this.
feet.
And then considering
tail.
how slow he walked on land,
tail,
like
yeah.
man,
There's a lot of inconsistencies.
there's
then
just
with his
I
biology
mean,
and-
the Godzilla design I think was for the most part good, but there was just these moments where it was just
Yeah.
like, man, again, like
Laziness.
his his stiff face sometimes it
Yeah.
was weird, sometimes it was very animated, very ferocious, and then sometimes it was like he was
Yeah.
smiling and like Like he was like coked out or something. And
Yeah, but
but he was Botox. It's like, what the
Just
fuck
had
happened?
Botox.
Yeah, he just had
So he was
Botox.
like,
Exactly.
I am sad.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so angry right now.
When I don't know, the reporters are like reporting as he's walking
Oh,
by.
yeah.
That's when you get that shot, and he does look like that. He's like, he's like walking, guys.
I'm fine.
By the way, the dedication to journalism, by the way,
Yeah.
of them being on that rooftop.
And there's no
for that
TV,
long.
and it's just that's all radio,
Right,
right?
yeah. They could have been describing it from like way like the fuck somewhere else. Like,
Yeah.
But to end my thoughts on
Yeah.
it, I do think it's one of the better Godzilla movies I've seen in a
you
while.
go. B plus.
But yeah, I would say B plus.
all right, yeah. I loved this movie, man. It caught me off guard in so many ways. The human drama is definitely one of the best in all Godzilla movies. The Godzilla design itself, I have my nitpicks with it. His more T-Rex version on the island for me was perfect. Like I loved that design so much. And if they would have kept it, it would have become like it's probably my favorite Godzilla design because it's just it becomes more of a threat, and that's why I love the '98 version of Godzilla. So he moved, he ran, you know. So that's just my dinosaur nerd in me, I guess. I don't know. But overall, as a film, I fucking loved it, and just Godzilla being a pure villain in this was something I also didn't expect.
Yeah, he was kind of a dick.
He was straight up villain.
Yep.
And I got used to the anti-hero in
But
like
he
the
has-
American films, you know, that we've seen lately.
Yeah, the
you know?
underdog.
So like, you know, he protects the human, or like,
Yeah.
or at least we'll team up for them for now, type
Yeah.
thing. I got kind of used to that. So
Fist
seeing
bump.
this completely villainous version did throw me off, and I was like,
I didn't
yeah,
like that.
fuck that guy.
Yeah.
He's killing everybody.
Yeah.
But like, it was so epic to see him also wreck people.
Yeah.
And like his atomic blast when that happened, I was like, oh fuck. Like
Those were awesome.
there's
Those
a
atomic
lot of
blasts.
scenes like that got.
I wish
me.
I would have seen this in IMAX. Sorry.
Oh, I mean, I saw it in row B, so it basically was IMAX.
Yeah. Row B. Jesus.
You were in the second row. Huh?
Everything else was sold out. But I had a fantastic time with it, and
Okay.
I would love to see this universe move forward.
So what's the grade?
My grade is 2 thumbs up. Yeah, it's
2 thumbs
Arturo
up.
acclaimed. Yeah.
So that's equivalent to a
and
100?
I want to go back to my T-Rex sweater that I realized you probably can't see because it's been so low underneath my
So it's
table.
probably blending into the green screen, man.
Oh,
you
fuck.
guys both
both
are
are.
probably
Shit.
Oh shit!
both of you are probably gonna
Damn,
fuck
you for sure, dude, because this is a very
The
close
exact
green.
same
That's totally
green.
fine.
We'll find out what happens.
We'll see what happens.
But I mean, as a
All right.
Godzilla fan, dude, like we've been eating good. I've been watching the TV series Monarch, and then this happened, and fuck, I was gonna bring my little keychains. I have 2 keychains, Godzilla and King Kong.
Yeah.
I have my fanny pack, so they're always with me.
Dude, that's a funny pack. All right, let's end this.
Yeah, it's
All
a
right.
dad pack.
All right, guys. As always, guys, please like and subscribe. Follow us on the TikTok.
What
and
did you
the-
think of
and the
Godzilla Minus One?
Yeah, what did you think about Godzilla Minus One and
-1.
the -1? Yes, I can't wait for Godzilla Zero. That's all I gotta
Hey,
say.
there you go.
All right, and as always,
Have a dark night.
Have a dark night.
rawr.